So everybody knows, the question was, so if somebody has to check a book out during the show, do you have to stop the show and go, if I were scheduled for today, yes, actually, yes, I would have to stop the show. So, all right, well, I guess we can start. That's okay.
I'll give you a round of applause.
Thank you. That's been my show. I'm so glad you're That's the fun, and on a good note, everybody. All right, so in case you don't know, you are at the Walkertown Branch Library in Forsyth County, North Carolina. This is because this is being recorded, and so you know when it gets like viral, everybody will know Walkertown. I want to thank Natalia Ticina, who's not here right now, but she sets up all the events at the Walkertown Library. So I want to thank her. I want to thank. I want to thank Walkertown Area Historical Society for recording this. Friends of the Walkertown Library Group. So that's really terrific. And of course, all of you for being here, really appreciate. So I'm not just saying stuff to cheers. It's really nice, really nice. So this is a celebration of poetry. This is National Poetry Month. April's National Poetry Month. And these poems are they started out as poems, and then they turned into songs somewhere along the way. Now you think like all poems, like any song that has lyrics in it, those are poems. That's true, but these weren't intended as such. Do we have to have the lights off? Or do you prefer the lights off or on? We can do it however you want. I hadn't thought about it. So, you have a preference?
Can we sit down? We'd rather.
Okay. I don't know. I just feel comfortable with the lights on. Anyway.
Turn the big ones off.
So, does it really bother you? I'm just okay. I'll do what the audience wants. It's fine.
Before we even started, I did that for him. And I was like this way.
And then I was like, no, I don't want it that way. And then I said, okay. And so these, and some poems are just musical and just in and of themselves. You can almost eeny, meeny, miny, moe a Langston Hughes poem. Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken winged bird that cannot fly. Hold fast to dreams, for when dreams go, life is a barren field frozen with snow. Very musical. Or E. E. Cummings. Jimmy's got a goil, Jimmy's got a goil, and she suddenly can't shimmy. When you see her shake, when you see her shimmy, I wish that you was Jimmy. Oh, for such a girl, oh, for such a girl, to be a fellow's twist and twirl. Talk about your sow, talk about your sallow maze, but gimme Jimmy's cow. Very so sometimes you just take them and go with them, or they don't even need a song really to be music. But these, somebody read them, heard them, and said, hey, I want to put some music to it. So that's what these poems are going to be today. And I want to start with one that doesn't actually have instrumental accompaniment. It's just the words of the poem arranged as a song. And I'm going to have my friend Henry Scott help me. Oh no, Jax. In just a second, because there's actually some songs. There's some songs that you think were not originally poems. Sarah Josepha Hale wrote a poem, and everybody now knows it by Lowell Mason's tune. Tell me if you just shout it out if you recognize this. What is it?
Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Yeah, that's right. You got Mary Had a Little Lamb. So and it's not necessarily that that's the best way. It might be the best way, but there are a variety of ways you could have gone with that, and we might be singing "Mary Had a Little Lamb" as a country western song here. Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb, something like that. We would all be singing that horribly, but or if Lowell Mason had been more in your face feeling that day, it could have been like, oh, Mary had a little lamb. Something like that. So it's not necessarily that he had one. So we all be singing the blues or heavy metal or whatever. Mary Had a Little Lamb. But some don't even need the musical accompaniment. Now, Anne-Marie Scott, will you please help me with this next poem? It's a poem by Rumi. Rumi was a Sufi poet from the 12th century, and it's cut. Yeah, come on up here. And it's there's a saying you might have heard in the South. I like my medieval Sufi poetry like I like my sweatpants. Rumi, you've heard that. So anyway, so this poem was written by Rumi in Persian or Arabic, I'm not sure. It was translated by Coleman Barks, put to music by a band out of Asheville, because that's where Asheville is. It's a band out of Asheville called the Dead Poets. And this is The Minute I Heard. The minute I heard my first love story, I started searching for you, not knowing how blind that was. Lovers don't finally meet somewhere, they're in each other all along. The minute I heard my first love story, I started searching for you, not knowing how blind that was. Lovers don't finally meet somewhere, they're in each other all along. The minute I heard my first love story, I started searching for you, not knowing how blind that was. Lovers don't finally meet somewhere, they're in each other all along.
Nice.
So Anne-Marie is not just an excellent singer, she's a financial advisor. So if you have crap loads of money, you have no idea what to do with it, talk to her, and she will tell you where to stick it. All right. That's my plug. That's my plug for Anne-Marie. All right. This is the first song that I heard that I found out later was a poem put to music. I thought that the guy who sang it, his name is Steve Gillette, I thought that he wrote the lyrics and the music. He did write the music. The poem was written by Goethe of Faust fame. The guy who wrote Faust in German. He wrote all kinds of stuff. This is a much shorter poem. It's called The Earl King. And if you think of the Earl King as like a fairy king, entrenched in the fairy tale tradition that Yeats wrote, come away, O human child, to the waters and the wild, with a fairy hand in hand, for this world's more full of weeping than you can understand. So it's that same tradition. It's about the fairy king trying to get children to come to fairyland in various ways. So this is about that. Don't know who translated this. I sent an email to Steve Gillette and I asked who translated this. He says, I found it in a textbook and then I wrote the lyrics out, changed some of the lyrics. He didn't know. So this is translator unknown, words by Goethe, music by Steve Gillette. The Earl King. Who rides through the night so dark and wild? The father rides with his own fearful child. The boy he holds so close in his arms, he guards him safely, he keeps him warm. Why do you hide your face as in fear? Father, don't you see the Earl King is here? He calls to me with a crown and a shroud. No my son, that's nothing but a passing cloud. The Earl King beckons to the terrified boy. You must come with me, I'll give you jewels and wealth untold. You'll walk in robes of bright and shining gold. Father, Father, do you not hear the Earl King whispering low in my ear? Hush, now rest, it's nothing, my child, but the trees and the night wind, praying their melody wild. The Earl King says, oh, come with me, and my own fair daughters will wait on thee. Heavenly vigil, oh, your cradle they'll keep, tenderly sing and rock you to sleep. Father, Father, see down there the Earl King's daughters with bright shining hair. No, my son, there are no fair maids, nothing but the willow that wave in the glade. Clutching the reins in his trembling hand, with pain and despair that he can't understand. Alone on the road with the stars overhead, fearful and hopeless, the boy in his arms is dead. To the trees in the night wind he cries aloud, he seeks out the face of death in every passing cloud. Down in the meadow the boy's grave is laid, nothing but the willow that waved in the glade. Nothing but the willow that waved in the glade.
Beautiful.
Oh, actually, yeah, okay, so let's see Earl King, Steve Gillette, and Goethe. This next poem I will definitely need help from Anne Marie. She's going to be on dulcimer on this song. Now, this poem is one of the first that I ever put to music. It's written by E. Cummings. He doesn't really have titles for his poems, but it's called L open parenthesis A. That's the first line of the poem. And so my friend Sean Cotter and I, we were in grad school. I'm a grad school dropout. So Sean Cotter and I, we were putting a couple of songs together. And so when we came across this one, it was like, so he just like started playing some chord progressions, and I just started kind of trying to sing along. So I guess that's the melody, I guess. And so but this is like an E. Cummings, so we've done other poems, but this is an E. Cummings poem, and there's a lot of things typographically that are very nuanced, and we're trying, okay, how do we get this nuanced typography translated into musicality? What are the things that so we actually had, before we even played this anywhere, we had like philosophical discussions, as philosophical as we could get, I guess. We were taking, literary criticism class, so we were like doing Marxist criticism, reader response theory criticism, we were doing feminist theory criticism, it's like we were trying to come at it from as many different ways as we could. Yeah, two guys doing feminist criticism, right? So we came up, and finally we got together, we were able to do it, we said, okay, this might do justice to the poem, and we performed it sometimes. And of course, Sean Cotter is now in Texas, so he's not going to be here for the show. So I said, Anne Marie, would you please help me with it? And so, and as we got going, she picked up, she's like, that's That's not feminist theory, are you kidding? So she had some really good ideas, so we put those into practice, a little different than Sean and I did. Again, I think what we came up with is fantastic. So this is by E. Cummings. I'm going to start in E, and then we'll go from there. Lovely falls only in a song. Thank you, Anne-Marie, for helping me on that. I think that was a wonderful job that you did with some really good inputs. That I think I like doing that. All right, this is another poem by Rumi put to music by the Dead Poets, made up of Alex Alford, Tom Tracy, and Alan Wolfe.
Today, like every other day, we wake up empty and frightened. Don't open the door to the study and begin reading. Take down a musical instrument. Take down a musical instrument. Today, like every other day, we wake up empty and frightened. Don't open the door to the study and begin reading. Take down a musical instrument. Take down a musical instrument. Let the beauty we love be what we do. Let the beauty we love be what we do. Let the beauty we love be what we do. Let the beauty we love be what we do. There are hundreds of ways to kneel and kiss the ground. Today, like every other day, we wake up empty and frightened. Don't open the door to the study and begin reading. Take down a musical instrument. Take down a musical instrument. Let the beauty we love be what we do. Let the beauty we love be what we do. Let the beauty we love be what we do. Let the beauty we love be what we do. There are hundreds of ways to kneel and kiss the ground.
I love hearing you sing, Anne-Marie. Thank you. All right. This song has been put to music by several people. I'm going to do a version by a guy named Phil Oakes. He's a folk singer in the 60s and 70s. A more recent version put to music of this poem is by Alfred Noyes, and it's called The Highwayman, about a guy who steals from the rich and gives to himself. So nothing noble about that per se, but it's a story about the highwayman, and Lorena McKennitt put it word for word to music, like every line of the poem, complete lyrics of the poem put to music, and it's like an 11-minute song. I'm not going to do that one. But it's beautiful. She does a very good job with it. But Phil Oakes is like, okay, that's not really, I want the song to move. So he tried to change it from like a romantic narrative poem, again on the page, it's beautiful, into more of an action-adventure poem. So when there were things of description like describing the highwayman, he had a French cocked hat on his forehead, a bunch of lace at his chin, a coat of the claret velvet, breeches of brown doe skin. They fitted with never a wrinkle. His boots were up to the thigh, and he rode with a jewel twinkle his pistol butts, a twinkle his rapier hilt, a twinkle under the jeweled scabbard. And so that's very good description, but like it didn't further the storylines. It's description. It stops a song from going, or there's a verse with Tim the ostler listening to the highwayman talking to his love, and it's like, dark in the dark old inn yard, a stable wicket creaked to where Tim the ostler listened. His face was white and peaked, his eyes were hollows of madness, his hair like moldy hay. But he loved the landlord's daughter, the landlord's red-lipped daughter. Dumb as a dog, he listened, and he heard the robber say, right, so there's a description, and that's great, and it's good characterization. It's the only stanza that Tim the ostler shows up in the entire poem. So Phil Oakes got rid of the description, he got rid of Tim the ostler, and turned it into an action-adventure poem. So this is Phil Oakes' version of Alfred Noyce's poem, The Highwayman.
The wind was a torrent of darkness on the gusty trees. The moon was a ghostly galleon tossed upon cloudy seas. The road was a ribbon of the moonlight over the purple moor, and the highwayman came riding, riding, riding. Yes, the highwayman came riding up to the old inn door. Over the cobbles he clattered and clashed in the darkened yard. He rapped with his whip on the shutter door, but all was locked and hard. So he whistled a tune to the window, and who should be waiting there but the landlord's black-eyed daughter? That's the landlord's daughter, waiting a dark red love knot into her long black hair. One kiss, my bonny sweetheart, for I'm after a prize tonight. But I shall be back with the yellow gold before the morning light. Yet if they press me sharply and carry me through the day, oh, then look for me by moonlight. Watch for me by moonlight, and I'll come to thee by moonlight, though hell should fall away. He did not come at the dawning, he did not come at the noon, when out of the dawning sunset, before the rise of the moon, when the road was a gypsy's ribbon, looping the purple moor, a red coat troop came marching, marching, marching. King George's men came marching up to the old inn door, and they found the landlord's daughter with many a sniggering jest. They bound a musket beside her with a barrel beneath her breast. Now keep good watch, and they kissed her. She heard the dead man say, oh, look for me by moonlight. Watch for me by moonlight, and I'll come to thee by moonlight, though hell should fall away. Look for me by moonlight, hoofbeats ringing clear. Watch for me by moonlight, were they deaf that they did not hear? For he rode on the gypsy highway. She breathed one final breath, and her finger moved in the moonlight. Her musket shattered the moonlight, and it shattered her breast in the moonlight, and warned him with her death. He turned, he spurred on to the west, for he did not know who stood, bound with her black hair falling down, drenched with her own red blood. No, not till the dawn had he heard it, and his face grew gray here. Now the landlord's black-eyed daughter, best landlord's daughter, had watched for her love in the moonlight, and died in the darkness there. Back he spurred like a madman, shrieking a curse to the sky, with the white road smoking behind him, and his rapier brandished high. Blood red were his spurs, and a golden noon, wine red his velvet coat, when they shot him down on the highway, down like a dog on the highway, and he laid his blood on the highway. lace at his throat. And still a winter's night, they say, when the wind is in the trees, when the moon is a ghostly galleon tossed upon cloudy seas, and the road is a ribbon of moonlight over the purple moon. A highwayman comes riding, riding, riding. A highwayman comes riding up to the old inn door.
All right, so that was Phil Oakes and Alfred Noyes. This is last song I'll do by the Dead Poets. They do lots of put lots of poems to music. This one, there was an anthology in 1993 that came out. It was called The Top 500 Poems. It wasn't ranking them on how influential they were. It wasn't ranking them on how good they were. It was ranking them on how often they had been anthologized up to that point. So I guess after that publication, they all got one more vote, right? So, the top anthologized poem as of 1993 was not William Shakespeare poem, was not a John Milton poem, not Geoffrey Chaucer. It was by William Blake. It was The Tiger. And the Dead Poets put that song, or that poem, to music.
Tiger burning bright, tiger in the forest of night. Tiger burning bright, tiger in the forest of the night. Tiger burning bright in the forest of the night. What if mortal hand or right, great light ripples in a tree? In what distant deeps or skies burn the fires of thine eyes? On what wings dare his fire? What the hand dare seize the fire? Tiger burning bright, tiger in the forest of the night. And what shoulder and what heart to twist the sinews of thy heart when thy heart began to beat? What dread hand and what dread beat? What the hand, what the chain? And what furnace was thy brain? What the anvil, what dread grasp? There its deadly terrors clasp. Tiger burning bright, tiger in the forest of the night. When the stars are down their spears and water heaven with their tears, did he smile his work to see? Did he who made the land make me? Tiger burning bright in the forest of the night. What immortal hand or eye dare bring thy fearful symmetry? Tiger burning bright, tiger in the forest of the night.
Alright, this one is a poem written by Edward Arlington Robinson. It's called Richard Cory. Edward Arlington Robinson, oh, and I gotta say, hey April, I'm about to do the Simon and Garfunkel poem there. Edward Arlington Robinson won the very first Pulitzer Prize in poetry in the United States. That was 1922. He won the Pulitzer Prize 2 other times in that decade. Edward Arlington Robinson had a lot of people populating an imaginary town called Tilbury Town. and wrote poems about them. You may have read Reuben Bright, Mr. Flood's Party about Evan Flood, Miniver Cheevy, on whom I think The Secret Life of Walter Mitty is kind of based on. And he wrote this, Richard Cory, and I kind of think of him as like a Great Gatsby type, or a Z. Smith Reynolds type, a young socialite that. And so Paul Simon read that poem, loved it, put it to music, but he changed up a lot of things. So I'm going to, as an intro to the song, I'm going to recite the poem, except for the last line. So if you haven't heard it, it won't ruin the surprise. But if you have heard it, you know what I'm doing. So Paul Simon did a lot, and he put in a chorus where there wasn't a chorus. This is Richard Cory by Edward Arlington Robinson and Paul Simon. Whenever Richard Cory went downtown, we people on the pavement looked at him. He was a gentleman, from soul to crown, clean-favored, and imperially slim. And he was always quietly arrayed, and he was always human when he talked, but still, he fluttered pulses when he said, "Good morning," and he glittered when he walked. And he was rich! Yes! Richer than a king! And admirably schooled in every grace. And fine, we thought that he was everything, to make us wish that we were in his place. So, on we worked and waited for the light and went without the meat and cursed the bread. And Richard Cory, one calm summer night, went home. They say that Richard Cory owns one half of this whole town, with political connections to spread his wealth around. Born into society, banker's only child, he had everything a man could want: power, grace, and style. But I work in his factory, and I curse the life I'm living, and I curse my poverty, and I wish that I could be, oh I wish that I could be, oh I wish that I could be Richard Cory. The papers print his picture almost everywhere it goes. Richard Cory at the opera, Richard Cory at a show, and the rumors of his parties and the orgies on his yacht. Oh, he surely must be happy with everything he's got. But I work in his factory, and I curse the life I'm living, and I curse my poverty, and I wish that I could be, oh I wish that I could be, oh I wish that I could be Richard Cory. He freely gave to charity, he had that common touch, and they were grateful for his patronage, and they thanked him very much. So my mind was filled with wonder when the evening headlines read, Richard Cory went home last night and put a bullet through his head. But I work in his factory, and I curse the life I'm living, and I curse my poverty, and I wish that I could be, oh I wish that I could be, oh I wish that I could be Richard Cory. For you today, one more poem turned into a song. Again, I want to thank the Walkertown Branch Library, including Natalia Ticina. Thank the Walkertown Area Historical Society and the Friends of the Walkertown Branch Library. Thank you, Henry Scott, for singing with me. I want to thank everybody for coming, of course, especially folks who drove a long way. Joel came from Greensboro, Keith and Deb came from Carborough, and my dad came from Arkansas. be fair, he just happened to be on the way to the beach, but... All right, so this last poem, I actually didn't even mean... I wrote the music because I didn't mean to write it as a song. What I was trying to do was figure out how Lewis Carroll would have recited the poem Jabberwocky. That's all I was trying to do. Was the most historically accurate way that I could get across Jabberwocky. That's all I was trying to do. Because like originally, I just saw the poem, I loved the poem. Then I found out he was British, so I kind of imagined, he'd be... I was thinking like somewhere between like Richard Harris and Monty Python, you know, something like you know, 'twas big in the slightest house, it died and his something like that. And I was thinking, and so I performed it that way sometimes, and then I found out like that's not even close. No idea, not even close. So what I did, the first thing I did to try to figure out how he would recite was, get the recording. So I didn't know there was a Lewis Carroll double vinyl album, Lewis Carroll Live at the Apollo. I ordered it. Unfortunately, I ordered from Borders. They shut down. I never got it. I was like, okay, what do I do then? So I got to use the old-fashioned method before there was the internet and, you know, recorded voices, things like that. So I had to do some research. So I found out some interesting things. First of all, Lewis Carroll wasn't his real name. His real name was Charles Dodson, and he taught at Christ Church College in the middle of Oxford University. Just south smack dab in the middle of Oxford University, sorry. So he taught, and it wasn't English, he didn't teach English, he taught mathematics, and he later became Dean of Christ Church for Christ Church's sake. And it was a children's poem, so he didn't like reciting to adults, he recited it for one reason, he felt more comfortable around children. He had a stutter or a stammer, and growing up he would, you know, recite poems and stuff he had a big family, so he's used to talking to kids and entertaining kids. So when he grew up, he stuttered, stammered. Today we call it stuttering or stammering. Charles Dodson would have called it by a technical term, scratching. But he felt more comfortable around kids. So the kids couldn't come inside of the building, so he had to go outside, like onto the quads, the street corners, even the streets themselves, if no traffic was coming by. And so Lewis Carroll, the name Lewis Carroll was just a pseudonym. Today we would call it a pseudonym, a nom de plume, which is French for chicken name. But he would call it, Charles Dodson would call the name Lewis Carroll by its technical term, his street name. Because that's where he was reciting the poems, the streets. And that he would perform with a lot, because it was for kids, it was with a lot of energy and enthusiasm, character. Shakespeare would have called it chutzpah. But Lewis Carroll, Charles Dodson would have called it by its technical term, flavor. And so, based on all that research that I did, it took me, I started researching like in 95. It took me like 20 minutes, I think, about to research. It was a lot of trouble trying to figure this out. So based on my intense research, this is how I think Lewis Carroll himself would have performed the poem Jabberwocky on the streets of South Central. Oxford, South Central. My name is Chuck D, no time to play when I'm a dean of the college just around the way. But they call me LC out here on the street, where a kicking for people to dual looking glass beat. In effect, Lewis Carroll, I write my own stash. I got more rhymes than all Dick Nash. I got words in my sword that no one knows. So, here it goes. And it goes a little something, yeah, it goes a little something, yeah, it goes a little something like this. 'Twas brilliant in the sliding toes, did gyro and gimbo in the way, but Mimsy where the motor goes, and the motor rats out grave. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, and Joseph bite the close and catch. Beware the jub burning, Sean from his man to snatch. He took his vocal sword in hand, one time to make some folk he saw it. So western he bought a tum-tum tree, stood a while and thought, and as an office door he stood the Jabberwock without a flame, came willingly through the torch in wood, and barreled as it came. Yo, 1, 2, 1, 2, and through and through. The vocal blade went. Stick a snack, he left a dead Joel. And with his head, he went golfing. Back, and I still swing the Jaguar. Come to my horse, my English boy. Who grabbed his day. Calais, he chortled in his. Joy! Twas brilliant in the slotty toe. Did gyre and gimble in the way. Oh, mimsy wore the morrigos. And the bone brass out radio hit it. Pace you all out of here.
Whoa!
That's my best guess in how old your organization. Thank you all for coming. Have a safe trip home.
I fell in love with this guy.
Thank you so much, Colonel. Appreciate that. Okay, this is I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud by William Wordsworth, and put the music by the Dead Poets. I wandered lonely as a cloud, floats on high over hills and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake beneath the trees, floating and dancing in the breeze, continuous as the stars that shine, and twinkle on the Milky Way, was stretched in never-ending line, along the margin of a bay. 2,000 saw I at a glance, fussing the heads and striking dance, the waves beside them dance for day. I did the sparkling waves in glee, a poet could not but be gay, such a joke unaccompanied. I gazed with little thought what the show to me had brought, but all went on my couch I lie, or tell the truth, make it more inventive move, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. My heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. My heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. Dances with the daffodils. Dances with the daffodils. Dances with the daffodils.